Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to Skyblock 1.16. I hope you're having a good day. Been a while, hasn't it? It's been a little while. It's a lot going on in the world of Minecraft right now, and I feel like the snapshots and all of these new features coming out for caves and cliffs have kind of occupied everybody's attention, including my own. So we haven't been back here in the Skyblock world for a little while, and imagine my surprise logging in and finding 7 nether stars just kind of sitting in my pocket. I think that thanks to some trading and bits and pieces, we should now have enough material, if we have a little bit more obsidian than this lying around maybe in the piglin bartering farm. We should now be able to make at least 1 beacon, if not 7. So I think I'm going to rifle through these chests until I can find a decent amount of materials. You can't make them out of crying obsidian, can you? It has to be regular obsidian. Oh, well, maybe we need to take a quick trip to the piglin bartering farm, and then we can actually turn some of these wither stars, these nether stars, into proper beacons. Well, all that bartering, and I only had 2 obsidian lying around. I did collect a little bit of the gravel from there as well, but yeah, thankfully we do have some obsidian left in here, and then I think we'll need to go and trade a little bit more with my villagers to get some glass, because I've been relying on glass for that, keeping sand for things like concrete and stuff where sand is a vital ingredient, and we can't just purchase it from the librarians up here. But I might come up here and say hi to a few of these, try and sell a little bit more of the iron that we've got from the iron farm to get a little bit of glass, and that will be everything we need to create 1 beacon. Unfortunately, not going to get to all 7 quite yet today. There we go, though. We got ourselves a beacon. Let's pop that down here, and there it is. Wonderful stuff. We should be able to activate it once we've obviously got a few layers built up of gold blocks or iron blocks or whatever we really want to use. I'm thinking probably gold, actually. I think gold seems a little bit less useful to me than iron right now, considering how nice iron is for trading. And it looks like the iron farm has been a little bit quiet. I've always wondered what exactly is the problem with this iron farm, and I think it's mainly that the villagers don't really activate their AI until I am a little bit closer to them. For whatever reason, oh, that was a bit of a rough fall, oops. For whatever reason, the villagers don't seem to, like, run around and go to sleep and stuff until I am down here, which seems to be slightly closer to the farm than I am when I'm up there. So maybe I have to be within AI activation range of them for them to go to sleep. It's always seemed a little bit odd to me, but even so, until it gets to be nighttime, the farm doesn't get to reset, and it seems like the golems will not be falling. Despite that, we still have a healthy collection of iron in here. There's more than I thought, so I'll grab a little bit of that. Anyway, today, the plan was originally, what I was thinking I would do with this episode was to make good on my promise of decorating the Skyblock Island a little bit more. I wanted to have more of an aesthetic day and start to build out an actual landscape for this island floating in the sky, which we've done bits and pieces of. Why am I climbing a ladder when I have elytra? We've done bits and pieces of that, but of course, these are all sort of unconnected and unlinked areas right now. Everything looks a little bit rough around the edges. It doesn't really feel like much of a natural world at all. And stuff like this is one of my favorite things that we've done in the series so far. This path up to the Nether portal feels very isolated when you look at it from any other angle but the intended angle like this. So I thought, hey, let's do a little bit of terraforming. And then I remembered that my cobblestone farm still kind of looks like this. Chicken and all, it is not producing a whole lot of cobblestone at once, and I really don't feel like spending so much time just AFK with all of this stuff, and we're getting eggs basically everywhere at this point. Get out of here. So I didn't really feel like continuing to farm cobblestone this way, which means we need to set up a slightly more advanced cobblestone generator. And my ideal for that really looks like a TNT duplicating cobblestone factory. So we are going to probably end up making a TNT duper at some point. For that, of course, we need a coral fan, and coral fans can only be found on this Skyblock map by generating tropical fish in a warm ocean and then killing them to get coral fan drops. So we are going to have to do a whole lot of work if we're going to get hold of a coral fan in this episode. And that made me think, last time we went out to find a warm ocean in this Skyblock map, it was out in that direction, and that made me think, wait a second, the Woodland Mansion is also over there, so maybe we raid a Woodland Mansion in this episode. We maybe make some inroads into finding that tropical biome and maybe making a little kind of pool outside of there. But I think what we're going to do today is get on that Woodland Mansion and go and see what all the fuss is about. And you know what? Since we have beacons and iron blocks in abundance now, how about we take a beacon with us? I think it'd be kind of fun to set up a beacon on the roof of the Woodland Mansion and have a little bit of regeneration or resistance effect up there. Actually, I'm not sure which effects you get from a tier 1 beacon, but we could probably manage a tier 2 looking at the amount of iron blocks we've got, and I think we should set something up there to give us a little bit better of a chance while we're exploring the mansion. I'm going to chuck away all of the stuff that I don't need right now so we can have a nice clear inventory. Maybe take a shulker box over there with us, actually, in case there is anything worth looting. I always like grabbing bookshelves and all of that other stuff from a woodland mansion. That's the real treasure, really, but there might be a couple of chests in there. There might be, you know, a golden apple or something like that. If the mansion loot is basically the same as what we got last time, I should probably remember what all we got from the woodland mansion in the first Skyblock playthrough, but you know what? My memory's a little rusty on that score. So I think what I'm going to do is let's take some easily accessible blocks like stone bricks or something like that. We'll bring those with us. We'll pop the rest of these in here for now. We'll put the glass away in one of these. And with some fireworks, we'll leave the nether stars here, obviously. We don't need to bring all of those. And I think in terms of blocks we need for an iron beacon, we'd probably just need 9 and 25. So that's 34. 34 iron blocks should be enough to make the first 2 tiers of a tier 2 beacon. Just give us a slightly larger radius to work with. I'll also leave a couple of fireworks up in here. We got the Silk Touch pickaxe, and we don't have Silk Touch on an axe right now. I wonder if we have a book ready to go for Silk Touch, because I would honestly like to take down all of those bookshelves intact if I can. Yes, my man over here has the Silk Touch trade for 7 emeralds, and I've only got 6. So let me quickly trade a couple more with the weaponsmith. There we go, got plenty now. And is it you? Yes, it's you. All right, great. We have a Silk Touch book for the axe. Fantastic. So now we can get all of those Woodland Mansion bookshelves without any undue fuss. Let's sleep for the night so we're not going in under cover of darkness, and maybe we're going to avoid some of the mobs spawning on the Woodland Mansion roof. And let's head out in this direction first, because one of the advancements in the advancement menu here, it sounds like I'm still flying, but I don't think I am. One of the advancements was to visit every island on the map, explore all the surrounding islands, and I think this one here is the only one that we haven't been to. Yes, there it is. We got the exploration challenge done. All right, and wow, it looks a little bit plain. The back of that building looks a little bit plain from here. Anyway, if we head out in this direction, we will pass over the pillager outpost that's out here in the distance, and I've had fond memories of rebuilding one of these in the survival guide recently. We can wave hello to all of the pillagers in there, and on our way past here, we should hopefully fly out in the direction of the Woodland Mansion. But wait a second, maybe the mansion has moved, because it looks like I'm reaching the border of the world right now. And you might think, oh wow, you can just fly over this border and just get to another location. There was a squid falling down from there. That was weird. Okay, you might think we can just fly over this border, but unfortunately not. The map actually resets you in the middle of the sky and right above the spawn point for the world. So yeah, it seems like you cannot cross over the world border, which is a bit of a shame, because it means you cannot get a shipwreck anywhere on this map. I don't think a shipwreck has been left anywhere within the boundary of the map here, which means that we can't get a conduit, because you need to find a heart of the sea from a shipwreck's buried treasure in order to get a conduit, and the conduit means conduit power, which is one of the effects you need for the How Did We Get Here advancement. So unless that advancement has been altered for this map specifically, it seems like we'll be unable to get it in the Skyblock world, which is a bit of a shame. But if anybody has any info about that, drop it in the comments below. It'd be really interesting to see if How Did We Get Here has been altered and can still be done. But having explored this area over by the pillager outpost, it does look like the Woodland Mansion has been moved, which is actually kind of exciting for me, because it might mean the loot has changed as well if it is a structure generated in a different area. I wonder where we'll find it though, because part of the progression the map recommends is to get a cartographer villager and buy a map to the Woodland Mansion from them, but that doesn't always guarantee that you're going to find the nearest Woodland Mansion. And as I say it, almost as if I've summoned it out of nothing, the Woodland Mansion comes into view here in the distance. So we're going to land somewhere on the roof. We'll pop down our beacon on this top floor on the roof here, and let's see how we do raiding a Woodland Mansion here in Skyblock. And the beacon is lit. We got that advancement right there as well, and it seems like we should be able to get resistance out of this, but not regeneration. We don't get that secondary power, but we do get the tier 2, which means we can have resistance, jump boost, haste 1, or speed. Now I think maybe resistance is going to work out for the best here. Vexes hit pretty hard, as do Vindicators, and while I have protection on all of my armor and I have sharpness 5 on my sword, I'm still a little bit wary of going in here with limited armor and without all of the other stuff that we get. I see some particles up there already, which kind of makes me think an evoker knows I am nearby. So I'm going to leave the beacon up there, and we're going to search around a little bit to try and find the Woodland Mansion entrance, which I think is probably going to be, of course, on the last side that we look, around here. Perfect. Okay, let's hop on into the Woodland Mansion. I brought a fair amount of torches, so we should be able to light this up, but I have a feeling, with this being one of the only structures in the area, it's going to be a bit of a mob farm, and oh boy, the Vexes are here right away. Was not expecting an evoker to be on the ground floor. That was a little bit harrowing. Oh, look, there's a village over here on the border as well. Well, hello, folks. I'm just going to have to fly past you. Oh, look at them going about their villager lives. I wonder if we could lure some of them into the boundary somehow. I'm not entirely sure how we would do that, but maybe we can set up some workstations for them along the edge here, and we can encourage them to walk across some scaffold or something that I could place close to the world border. That might be a fun challenge. But yeah, we can maybe do something about that a little bit later on. For now, though, I think I need to make another attempt at getting into this mansion. We'll try and bullseye some of the Vexes, and that evoker is now over there. Okay, so we can probably take him out. Yes, from a distance. Perfect. Okay, it looks like we should hopefully have access to a Totem of Undying now at least, and that might be very, very helpful to have in this here Woodland Mansion. We've picked up the Evoker's totem, we've picked up some more emeralds, there's a little bit of gold, there's a name tag, and of course, there is a diamond hoe. There's always a diamond hoe in these places. Well, I'll take pretty much everything from this chest, actually, because I feel like some of that stuff is going to be very useful to us. Moving on around, I'm going to be relying on my bow a lot in here, I can already tell, because it seems like this is going to be a, pretty mob-heavy Woodland Mansion raid, it seems like. We've got a couple of mobs up here already. I heard a witch giggling, and I'm not sure if that was from this room or not, but oh my days, they brought some backup, it looks like. Okay, those zombies are dealt with, but I've certainly garnered a little bit of attention from elsewhere here, and I have a feeling that, yep, there's going to be a couple up there as well. That's one of the treasure chest locations, so I do want to make headway into this room if I possibly can, but this guy up here is going to have issues with that. There we go, and let's see what we got in this chest. Okay, a name tag. All the mob sounds around me are just putting me on edge. I really cannot concentrate. Yes, hello, and there's one of them. Better take care of him before he decides to pick up my shulker box as I just threw it on the ground in front of him. Speaking of which, let's start tucking away some of this loot. We'll leave some of this in here. We got a few mob drops in there as well. Nothing much really to write home about from this chest. The beet seeds and stuff I will leave in there for the moment. So after dealing with that zombie patrol in the corridor, I need to light up some of this area around here so that we don't end up with an absolute mob fest, but looks like the skeletons are out in that room, and I'm just curious about what exists around every corner here. We've got, a couple of skeletons in the jail area as well. I'm mostly looking around for creepers because one of those could just puncture its way through the floor and leave us falling into the sky right about now. Couple more fancy pants skeletons and another loot chest right here. That's another name tag for us, which is actually really nice to have, to be honest, because name tags are a little bit expensive when you're just trading them from librarians. Let's preserve the torches where we can, though, and keep eating these potatoes if we know what's good for us. Now, the thing about this Woodland Mansion is it does seem to have generated a little bit oddly. A lot of the time you find these Illager faces at the top of some staircases, and usually they have got secret areas behind them, but as you can see, this wall basically leads out to the open sky. Once we're through that wall, there's nothing behind it. So anybody who's thinking, oh, that Illager face needs to have some kind of secret room behind it, they don't always. They don't always, and sometimes they generate in weird locations anyway. Right, I've just been attacked by a Vindicator, and that means it's time to run. I have a couple of skeletons and creepers on me, and I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to make it out of here alive. Let's head to the exit and jump into the sky for a second so that I can eat, and there we go. Fireworks, take me away. Gosh, yeah, it's rough with one of these when there is no mob cap around the outside. It's definitely a much more difficult experience because all of the stuff on the inside is going to be out to get you. Yep, it looks like he is just concerned with the bats over there right now, so I can take him out at a distance, take out a couple of the bats and the skeleton as well. And hopefully any more Vindicators will be around the corner and I can deal with them in due time. Welcome to the episode of constant mob noises, folks, because they're really not stopping. There are zombie noises and evoker noises and everything going off above me, and I'm just trying to make headway into this one room. There we go, there's another one. Oh boy, oh yes, and another retreat is in order. Gosh, those guys hit so hard, and I have protection 4 on a bunch of my armor, so I am not ill-defended here, but man, they just hit like a truck. Yep, they definitely hit like a truck. Oh, baby. That was a Vindicator right to the face, and all my stuff is just going to be chilling at the entrance to the mansion. Well, at least I was right by the stairs, so if we grab some Elytra and grab a little bit of backup gear, we might be able to make it back in there. I might have to equip a chest plate for this, even though I'm relying on Elytra for maneuverability, because otherwise they are going to hit a little bit hard. Well, so much for the resistance effect. Those Vindicators can two-shot you, and that is no joke. So I'm headed back over there with a motley collection of armor. I've got a diamond helmet, some iron boots, and some chain leggings, plus the diamond chest plate that I clutch in my offhand. We are hopefully going to be able to get in there with an axe in hand. We're going to go in Vindicator style, and so much for the resistance effect that we were getting from the beacon. I might actually have to come back with a few extra blocks and make that regeneration, or maybe bring some potions over if I've got the resources for them. All right, you. That's right. Come get it. Oh, yes. All right. We took him down in one shot, and hopefully we should just be able to gather up all of my supplies here. I was not keen on using that Totem of Undying, actually. I kind of wanted to leave the totem for a trophy, but I think a lot of the time we might need to just have one in our offhand anyway when those Vindicators are around. Although a second hit from a Vindicator is going to kill us just as quickly as the first, so I don't know how I feel about that right now. Oh boy, another Vindicator just dropped down from the stairs. I'm going to try and block him with the shield, and okay, now we're in trouble. Yes, okay, thank goodness for that. I do not have a second set of Elytra to make my way back over here. In fact, if I can eat real fast, that would be preferable, because that way I should be able to at least fly back to the Skyblock Island and drop off my backup gear. Yeah, I'm thinking with all my stuff gathered back into the shulker box, it's time to make a hasty retreat. And I'm going to come back when it is daytime and when I have a little bit less valuable stuff on me. Thankfully, my Elytra has Unbreaking this time, so it should be enough to make the journey. But oh boy, I think the quickest way home is actually going to be to fly at the world border like we did before, and just get teleported back to the central island. So I'm going to make a beeline for this village, and I'll see you guys back in the middle of the world. Home sweet home. And let's take a look at what we've got so far. Obviously, we have a bunch of bows and stuff that I need to get back in my hotbar here so that we can use that, but we have a bunch of those from the skeletons. We got ourselves a diamond hoe, a few name tags, which is quite nice, a few emeralds from killing some of the Vindicators, and that one evoker, so we can tuck those away in there. And yeah, I might keep the Totem of Undying on me, even though you have to have it in your offhand, and personally, I favor a shield. Alright, ring the bell, because I'm ready to go in for round 2, and hopefully this time we'll have a little bit more success taking down those Vindicators. I'm hoping when we get back to the upstairs floors, that resistance effect is going to kick in a little bit more, because right now, I think the radius on it is just a little bit too small. Yeah, there we go. We get it now, but we have to be within 20 blocks of the beacon for it to really have any effect. Maybe I should have placed it outside of the main entrance or down here on one of these floors if it was going to be a little bit more effective that way. Do I still have anything in here that I can use to activate it? I guess the gold ingot might work. We'd have it on this side of the mansion, but not the other side, so I don't know really what's going to have the best effect. You know what, whatever. We could do this without a beacon anyway, as long as we are a little bit more careful, so let's leap off the side here and make our way back inside the mansion. Hopefully I've lit up enough of this now that the odds are going to be evened a little bit more in my favor. Time to take out everything from a safe distance, including the Vindicator over here, who thankfully is still distracted by the bat and goes down in one shot. You love to see that. Okay, and I can still hear a Vindicator muttering over in this direction, but I don't think he has spawned in this room. I have a feeling he is further upstairs. So often, though, it sounds like they are right next to you when they do that, so it's a little bit disconcerting. But you know what? I'm going to press on into this room. There's nothing really much to be had here, except on the floor over there, I can see a music disc. So one of the creepers in here did actually get shot by a skeleton. My prophecy of earlier came true a little bit there, and one of the creepers actually got KO'd by a skeleton. That's awesome stuff. We might actually have a music disc in our collection now, without even having set up a record farm either. That's pretty great. Now, none of these chests are going to have any items in. They're just there for decorative purposes, unfortunately. So let's just pop down a couple of torches around the perimeter here, and hopefully we'll see fewer spawns in this room as well. But I definitely hear an evoker around here as well, and I'm worried that he's going to be in one of these side rooms and just ambush me. I really hate dealing with Vexes. They're one of my least favorite mobs in the game, just because of how quick they are and the fact that they can fly through walls is going to get a little bit difficult for me to deal with in here, especially considering we're in Skyblock. But I can't believe we got a Mellow High music disc out of that as well. That's so funny. I'm so glad that we got ourselves a music disc in Skyblock, and by complete accident as well. I could not have planned that if I tried. And oh, okay, we are backing into an unexplored corridor here with a lot of zombies on me, and thankfully my armor seems to be holding up against these guys, especially the ones that don't have weapons, because for the most part they don't hit all that hard. The baby zombies are relatively weak too, so hopefully we can take care of the rest of these before we have to deal with any of the Illagers. I did spot 2 of them chilling down there in the corridor though, so we might have to back off a little bit and deal with the zombies on the stairs. And some of you might be wondering, why potatoes and not steak? And the answer is honestly because potatoes can be grown instantly, whereas cows take a little while to farm, and I haven't really been spending a huge amount of time grinding that aspect of Skyblock yet, so we're probably going to be okay just dealing with potatoes for now. We've got 2 of the Vindicators taken out. Take out this creeper over here on the right as well, and we'll move on around to the left here, because I know that those Vindicators are taken care of. And I'm keeping an ear out. There finally are some of the bookshelves that I was looking for, and I'm not seeing too many more Illagers on this floor, so we can pop into this room, just check our corners here, but it looks like we're okay in this room, and this floor is going to be a little bit more tidy, I think. I'm not seeing quite as many zombies around here now, but I do hear a Vindicator or 2 from the side rooms. I definitely hear an Evoker around this corner. Yes, there he is, and we managed to take him down before he spawned any Vexes. That was pretty slick. Okay, another Totem of Undying for me, as long as I can get past these 2 zombies. And if one of the zombies picked up the totem, that'd be really funny, but it doesn't look like they have. Fun fact about Totems of Undying, for those who don't know, basically anything that can pick up a totem can use it, and that includes foxes, which pick up items in their mouths. If you've ever seen a fox pick up a Totem of Undying, if you attempt to kill the fox to get it back, the totem will actually save the fox from death. So it's actually quite a useful item regardless of who is holding it, and sometimes that can even mean things that aren't even players or humanoids. If we head on up here, there might be some mobs up here. Occasionally there are. Always check your corners, but there is a chest with yet another name tag, and it looks like a lot of this loot is kind of the same as it was in the chests further down. Oh well, not to worry, at least we got it, and at least we can potentially light this place up so that nothing surprises us by jumping down from here. Oh, and there's an Evoker in the corner over here. Well, we can hopefully take him down. He has spawned a couple of Vexes, but if I can dodge the Vexes and give them the chop with my sword, yes, there we go. When they get that red kind of aggro glow to them, they're always a little bit more dangerous. But no, we can take on a few of them relatively easily. Let's ready the bow shot for that last one, and I think that is all of them. Okay, great. Man, the Vexes are always my least favorite thing to deal with about these mansions. The Vindicators hit hard, but the Vexes are just irritating. The next step is to get up here without aggroing any creepers, and thankfully it looks like there's just a skeleton on this side, which means we can take this guy out as he comes around the corner and finally get to look in this loot chest, which once again is exactly the same loot chest as the other ones we've raided in the mansion. I've heard there is this problem with loot sometimes where for whatever reason the game generates the same loot chest over and over again when a structure generates a certain way. I don't know exactly what causes it, but yeah, it seems like we may have encountered that issue right now because a lot of these chests are giving me exactly the same contents. Let's quickly dive back into the shulker box and pop a couple of these things in here. We got 3 Totems of Undying now, which probably means there's only 1 or 2 Evokers left in the mansion. I definitely saw a Vindicator behind these stairs over here, so I'm going to try and snipe him from a distance. And I am hopeful, I have a feeling that stuff stuck behind this staircase can't actually get out. Obviously, the creeper here is going to be able to blow stuff up if I keep line of sight with him for too long. But yes, this Vindicator over here, I don't think should be able to get to me. And there's 2 of them right there. So those 2 have just been taken out. No harm, no fuss. And thankfully, I did that before the skeleton knocked me into this enclosure and I had to fight for my life. There we go. That area is all lit up as well. Shouldn't have any more trouble in there. We can grab whatever the skeleton just dropped and maybe we can finish up the 3rd floor. I'm definitely hearing the telltale sounds of at least one more Vindicator up there, so we got to keep our wits about us. And you know what? Maybe at this point I will swap in that chest plate and bring the Totem of Undying into play. I don't normally use these, but now we've got 3 of them. We might as well keep the Totem on deck and make sure that we don't end up succumbing to one of these Vindicators or an Evoker. If they happen to leap out at us from the side like that, yes, there we go. Keeping them at range is always going to be the best strategy for this area, though, so I'm going to hold on to the totem for dear life and play it a little bit safe as I step into this room. Because sometimes stuff just leaps down on you from the walls, including this guy who's only hitting me for 2 hearts now. Thankfully, that chest plate is doing work. Oh, yes, and we've got the totem as a bit of backup if we need to. And honestly, folks, I always tend to keep the elytra on me just so I can fly if I need to, and that has saved my bacon a couple of times, but honestly, I think equipping a chest plate is something that I really miss every time I'm wearing elytra, and it's kind of nice to get back into that full armor game when we're raiding a mansion this way. Honestly, skeletons are the whole reason I prefer using a shield, though, because these guys are so annoying, and they run away from you and shoot you from range. It's so much nicer having a shield to block their arrows. You can actually make your way towards them instead of just being kept away by their constant nagging arrows. But I think just one skeleton up there, and that might be it for this room, unless there are a couple of creepers wandering around that I haven't spotted up there in the darkness. Nope, looks like there wasn't a creeper up here at all, which means once I've lit this up, we can take a look at the chest and an enchanted golden apple. That's what I'm talking about, folks. What a find. I'm so happy that we got one of these now. And let me put the other totems in here for the moment, because I don't think we are going to need them now. We are getting down to the last few mobs left in this mansion, and I would like to re-equip my shield, but I think we'll keep the totem on us just in case. That is such a great thing to have in one of these mansions, though, and I wonder if the map maker has put that here intentionally, or if it's just one of those things where we got lucky and the apple generated in the chest. But Woodland Mansions are some of the only places you can get those, so it is very, very nice that we have one. And I'm trying to remember, did I get an enchanted golden apple from the Woodland Mansion in my last Skyblock playthrough, or did I not? You folks might have to let me know, because I don't remember very much about that series at this point. I could go back and look, but I do kind of wonder if anybody in the comments is going to remember whether I ended up getting an enchanted golden apple or not. And I think there may be just one more Vindicator down here. I do hear a little bit of Vindicator noise in the background, yep, and it looks like we are tearing this place apart at this stage. The skeletons and creepers are all fighting, and that's leaving me with a bunch of holes in the floor to deal with. Hello! And this guy dropping down from the ceiling as well. Don't think I didn't hear you, because I absolutely did. There he is. There's our last Vindicator. I'm pretty sure this is the last one anyway, and he's down a hole. I think he might have just died to full damage down this hole. Yep, there's his emerald. He absolutely died down there. Well, that's pretty funny, but I think... Oh, is there one just... Oh, there's a couple around here, actually, now that I look at it. There's a couple actually hiding behind the wardrobes over here in this corner of the room. Well, I should hopefully be able to take them out. Yes, that's 1 and 2. I think that is definitely now the last of the Vindicators. Unless there's one hiding in the cupboards. No, absolutely not. This is not Scooby-Doo. It doesn't work that way. And we got ourselves a little bit more stuff. A music disc or 2 in here as well. We've got some bones. I'm going to grab the extra music disc from there. And did it just start raining? It definitely just started raining. That was weird. Staticky noise started to come through on my headphones. But that is that, folks. We have just about raided this Woodland Mansion, and it only took me dying once, thankfully. But no, I'll be a lot happier putting the shield back on my hotbar and putting the elytra back on my back at this point. We are pretty much through the worst of it, I think. And a bunch of junk, but a bunch of really valuable loot, including, I cannot believe it, that enchanted golden apple from the loot chest. Unbelievable. So happy that we got one of those in this Skyblock world. Well, at this point, I've been talking about it for most of the episode, and I'm going to make good on my promise. I'm going to walk away from this mansion with as many bookshelves as I can carry as well, because not only are they a great decorative block, it means we can expand our enchanting setup and have plenty of bookshelves to break down into books if we want to trade a little bit more with the villagers who are going to trade us some enchanted books. So I think the next thing to do, now we've cleared out the mansion more or less in its entirety and left some permanent damage to the infrastructure, is to go and loot all of the rooms that have bookshelves in them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll meet you back at the entrance, where I should hopefully have a pretty decent haul from this Woodland Mansion. But before you tell me I've forgotten something, which let me assure you I absolutely haven't, we're going to check behind the Vindicators' face here to see if there is in fact a secret room in this Woodland Mansion, and it looks like there is not. It looks like the secret room, quote unquote, led back around to the bedchamber that we explored earlier where those two Vindicators were hiding behind the wardrobes. So bear in mind, folks, that we do not always get the secret rooms behind those Illager faces. They do happen occasionally, I will admit, and I have seen a few of them in my time which are frankly pretty cool. There's a couple which involve getting diamond blocks, I think, so they're always worth checking for in case you have them, but in this case, you really don't. In this case, it was just going to be the... Oh, hello, we got an Enderman on us now as well. Yeah, in this case, it was just going to wrap around and connect to the rest of the structure that we'd already explored. And oh well, maybe in another series, in another world, we're going to find one of those secret rooms in these mansions and finally find out what all the fuss is about. But for now, folks, I'm going to continue taking down some of these bookshelves. And once again, see you back at the entrance, and we can fly back to the central island together and take stock of all of the stuff we've got. So I just discovered I found that Labyrinth Room earlier and didn't end up exploring that. Went through, just got myself another one of those chests with the name tag and the bones. Nothing much to write home about, but here we are heading back around to the entrance and finally step out into the fresh air. Gosh, that feels good. It's raining a little bit and there's probably mobs on the roof, but for now we have 108 bookshelves total from this mansion, so I feel a lot better about that. We've got ourselves the golden apple as well. We have a whole bunch of loot from the mansion, and I feel very, very happy with that, despite how tricky some parts of it were. Let's try and fly over the world border once again. Let's go into this cave where a skeleton awaits and will surely kill us. Oh no, wait. It's just gonna teleport us back to the central island, and that is the fast way of getting back from that Woodland Mansion. Well, let's dive down here, settle in for the night, and probably wrap up this episode there. Folks, I hope you've had as much fun as I have exploring the Woodland Mansion and getting chock full of arrows. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Skyblock 116. My name has been Pixlriffs. Please don't forget to leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you folks soon. Take care. Bye for now.